In my last video, I talked about how Wendy was making some cheese. A byproduct of that process is whey. This watery stuff is normally a waste product. It is useful for fermenting chicken feed. I'm shooting this video in early February. It's really too early to start fermenting our chicken feed again, but I hate to see this stuff go to waste. The temperatures are below freezing overnight, but the fermenting process should work if I do it inside. Do that again. Okay. As long as daytime temperatures don't get cold enough to freeze the finished fermented feed solid, freeze the finished okay. As long as daytime temperatures don't get cold enough to freeze the finished slop solid, we should be good. Good morning, goats. Good morning, goats. Come on. Come on, goats. Come on, goats. We'll see if they come. Still pretty cold. They've been locked up here in their enclosure for a couple weeks. It looks like they do want to come out. Come on, goats. Here's a quick recap on fermenting chicken feed. There's two advantages. Fermented chicken feed is supposed to be more nutritious for the chickens. By fermenting the chicken feed, we can feed them 25% less. It takes 3 days to ferment the chicken feed, so I'll be starting 3 buckets, 1 bucket each day. On the 4th day, after the last bucket has had a day to get started, I can use the first bucket. You don't need whey to do this. It's just a good way to boost things along. It's not quite as easy as just tossing out dry feed for the chickens, but it is pretty easy. To start a bucket, you just have to pour in some water and stir it or slosh it around a little. Later that day, I'll check it again to see if it needs more water. Here's what it looks like after our pelletized chicken feed has had a chance to soak up the water for a little bit. You just want to make sure it's covered a little bit and that you can see some bubbling action. That bubbling action means it's working. This is an important point to remember. We're on well water, so we don't have to worry about this, but if you're on city water, you're going to want to have the water stand in a 5-gallon bucket or 2 for a day or so. That way the chlorine that they add to city water can evaporate off. Chlorine, of course, is added to kill bacteria. You know, it's bacteria that lets the fermenting process work, so you need that stuff. The lids on our fermenting buckets are there to keep the water from drying out too fast. It's also good for keeping critters out of the buckets. Because I'm using that way over several days, I'm keeping the small bucket refrigerated. That way it doesn't get too gross. The gross factor may be a reason not to ferment. Working with fermented slop is more gross than just scooping out dry feed. It's important to anticipate how much feed your chickens are going to consume on a daily basis. For us, I give them 4 scoops, 4 of those small scoops, if I'm giving them dry feed, and only 3 scoops go into the bucket if I'm fermenting it. All 3 buckets are now in progress. In the mornings, when I start a new bucket, I try to remember to check the one from the day before. Oftentimes it needs a little more water. I let the earliest bucket dry out some. When I give it to the chickens, I want it to be more of a sludge rather than a soup. The snow is almost all gone now. Our pond must have froze thicker than I thought for this floating island of ice to still be here. The temperatures have been getting into the 50s this week, and it's hard to believe, but this coming Monday, it's supposed to be in the 70s. Thanks for watching. Remember, your dreams are closer than the moon. Thanks for taking this trip around the moon with us.